Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tyler Parker, and thank you for joining us. Normally, you'd find me hosting It Only Takes a Minute, IT's ongoing web series, but today I'll be moderating a question and answer session with our McNair Scholars. So a big welcome to all of our scholars. And for those that are watching us live, you can submit questions to our panelists right now by going online to emporia.edu/live. You'll see the option in the McNair section, and if you haven't seen their posters and video presentations, those are also available online at emporia.edu/McNair. I'm also joined today by the coordinators of the McNair program at ESU, Dr. Terri Summey and Dr. Shanna Eggers. Terri and Shanna, would you give us a little bit of background on the McNair Scholars Program and today's event?
Yeah. Welcome and thank you for joining us today, everyone. My name is Shanna Eggers and I'm the director of the McNair Scholars Program. The goal of the McNair Scholars Program is for the students who are in the program to be prepared for successful entry into the graduate program of their choice. So all of these students have as their goal to attend graduate school when they complete their bachelor's degree. So we offer them several services and opportunities, and one of the things that we emphasize is research. So I hope you've had an opportunity to view the scholars' posters and their presentations. With the assistance of faculty mentors in their respective disciplines, these students have spent the semester developing original research projects. This forum, along with their written proposals, is the culmination of their spring research course. They'll spend the summer collecting data and analyzing it, drawing conclusions, and drafting final projects. Then, hopefully, they will have the opportunity to present their complete projects across the nation when it is safe and advisable to do so. That is our goal for the fall. Our goal is for scholars to learn the full research process from generation of an idea through completion. Presenting their proposals publicly is an important step in that process. They're excited to answer your questions, and their projects will be enhanced by the insightful inquiries and feedback from you. And so I'll ask Dr. Summey, who teaches our spring research course, to talk a little bit about the course.
So I want to take a moment to welcome you to our McNair Virtual Research Poster Forum. This is not the format that we had originally envisioned when the semester started, but it's the one that we can use. We are excited to have you join us today for our live question and answer session. Our ESU McNair scholars have worked hard this semester, as Shanna said, to develop their fledgling ideas into formal research proposals, which will guide their research this summer during their research internships. As she indicated, the McNair Scholar Program is named after astronaut and physicist Ronald McNair. The goal of the program is to increase graduate degree awards for students from underrepresented segments of society. In the McNair Introduction to Research course, I work with the students on conducting a literature review, working on their methodologies, taking their topic from an idea to a topic and research question, and then working through the whole process. They all have faculty mentors who have helped them on through this process. I hope that you've had the opportunity to check out their research proposal posters and presentations. If not, take a moment to look at them after this live event. Our scholars are eager to answer your questions about their research.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead then and go around the little Zoom room. And we'll start off then. I would like all of you then to tell us a little bit about yourself and your presentation. So we'll go ahead and start with Guadalupe.
Hello, my name is Guadalupe, and I am an accounting student here at Emporia State. And topic is about deserts in a pandemic. So I'm analyzing the issues, the challenges, and the possible solutions for a pandemic.
Did you say me? I'm
I
sorry.
kind
Yeah,
of lost you there.
Oh,
What did you say?
So my name is Porscha Bland. I'm a psychology major, and my topic is on the impact of adverse childhood experiences on adult health and mental health. So adverse childhood experiences are pretty much just like childhood traumas, and I just want to see how childhood traumas can affect that individual physically and mentally in their adulthood. So.
Okay, cool. Rachel, can you tell us about yours?
There we go. My name is Rachel Castro, and I am a communication major here at ESU. And my research really focuses on women who do peace building work in various countries throughout the world and the limitations and the opportunities of the online spaces they do to do their work.
Very cool. Olivia?
Hi, my name is Olivia Granado, and I'm a psych major at ESU. And my topic is instructor-student rapport and academic performance. And so I just wanted to see how rapport has changed between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic.
Amy?
Hi, my name is Amy Guillen. I am a sociology major here in Emporia State, and my topic is the impact belonging has on Latinx college students in a predominantly white institution. So I just want to find out how we can help Latinx students on our campus and make them feel welcome.
Very cool. Jenny?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Sanchez. I'm a chemistry and Spanish major, and the title of my research is Effectiveness of Whitening Toothpaste on Artificial Teeth. So I'm basically just testing whitening toothpaste on artificial teeth to see if they'll whiten or not.
Okay. And Marisleysis?
Okay. Hi, my name is Marisleysis Velazquez. I am majoring in psychology and Spanish, and my topic is, will 4 weeks of mindfulness activities affect adolescents' self-reported anxiety, mindfulness, and emotional regulation? So I just want to see how in a stressful situation would differ if they knew these mindfulness techniques.
Awesome. Okay. And Marisleysis, we're going to go ahead and stay with you then. What is the significance of your research, and why do you feel that it is important?
Okay, so the significance of my research, I feel that it's important for adolescents to be able to learn how to regulate their emotions, because they're in that time period where they're not really sure on how they feel, and we've all been, adolescents before, so all of us were in that time period of where we didn't know what. And also it would also be beneficial, so institutions could also apply these mindfulness activities in their everyday learning.
Okay. And Jennifer, what is the significance of your research?
Mine is centralized around the fact that many people nowadays desire whiter teeth because of social media or TV, whatever the reason may be. So I'm just going to test that out, and also to make sure that people know the possible risk that there may be when whitening their teeth.
Amy?
The significance of my study is to facilitate the experience of Latinx students and and to see how we can make it a more better learning environment for them.
Very cool. Olivia, what about you?
Yes, my significance of my research project is just to, because rapport is just such an important piece in the instructor-student dynamic. And so I just wanted to see how in the face of a pandemic that could impact that relationship. So, and also on academic performance as well. So.
Rachel, the significance of yours?
Yeah, so what I hope to do through my research is really provide women from different countries a kind of look at what the possibilities are for technologies to help them better organize across distances, because often they can't meet with the women face to face that they're working with. So technology, they really rely on it. So I'm just hoping to provide them with a kind of condensed look at how they can use the technologies that they're already using.
Very cool. Very cool. Porscha, we kind of talked about this before when you joined us, but what's the significance of your research?
Yeah, so sorry. So the significance for my research, I believe, is to help those who actually have childhood traumas and try to reduce that likelihood of an expected mental illness. So I feel like with my research, I feel like if I do find a strong correlation between adverse childhood experiences and adult health and mental health and issues like that, then like the the clinicians and the therapists will be able to better target that person's treatment to decrease that likelihood of that mental illness or that physical illness or something like that. So yeah, my whole point is I just want to help people who have childhood traumas and try to reduce that likelihood of anything happening to their mental or their physical health. So
very cool. And finally, Guadalupe, the significance of your research, please.
So I found that food insecurity is a huge problem, well, just a problem in general in communities. And so the time we are living in right now is during COVID-19. And I wanted to see whether COVID-19 or a crisis in general would affect food banks or food deserts. And so that's what my concentration is. Hopefully by the end of this research, I'm able to provide solutions for hopefully never, but another case of an outbreak. And so we're better prepared as a community together.
Okay, and again, for those of you watching us live, you can submit questions to our panelists regarding their research projects online at emporia.edu/live. So we've actually had some incoming, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it over to Dr. Summey, and she can ask a couple of our panelists then some of the questions that you guys have been submitting. Dr. Summey?
All right. So this first question is for Guadalupe. Guadalupe, so thank you for your work on this topic that's important, one that's grown even more important in our current circumstances. The writer is curious if you could talk more a little bit about the 3 specific food pantries that you selected and their proximity to food deserts specifically. Do any of these have specific programming that targets those areas in unique ways? And you might talk a little bit about what a food desert is too, just in case people aren't aware of what one is.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start off, food deserts are areas in which the person living in that area cannot obtain healthy, fresh food. So in the county of Jackson County, which I'm researching in, I've selected 3, which are the names of Guadalupe Centers, Stetson Center, and the Nourish KC organization. These organizations are just community helpers. They also help food pantries. So that's something that I wanted to look into more. Guadalupe Center has an emphasis or focus rather to help a community in any other way. So I decided to pick these 3 just because one, they were going to be available for our research. During the COVID-19, there's a lot of things that were asked to be shut down. And they are also under the roof of harvesters.
So following up on that, can you talk a little bit about, have these pantries changed their offerings under COVID-19 and how?
Yes, they have limited resources now. My research is going to talk more about how can we better prepare for that. So because of everything going on, they'd have to limit their supplies, limit the people that they're helping, and just restrict their ways of reaching out to communities.
So how do you think this might, with a limited on supplies, how do you think that might affect your study? And how would you address those?
Thank you. They would affect my study just numerical wise. If I want to have exact data of how many families they help, I won't necessarily get that information just because everything again is limited. So that's something I'm facing in researching this. I won't get the number I want, or if not the precise answer to how many families are being helped due to the lack of resources.
Thank you, Guadalupe. The next question is for Rachel. So Rachel, thank you for your presentation on research in this area. Can you talk a little bit more about how the interviews will be conducted and what challenges or ethical dilemmas do you anticipate in speaking to women around the world who are part of the networks, and how might you address those?
Yeah, so in particular, because these women come from a lot of different countries around the world, I'm not going to be able to visit them face to face and meet them in person. So a lot of the interviews will take place online. So through Zoom is a possibility. I'm also open to different applications, such as messaging apps. A lot of the women use an app called WhatsApp. And then they also just email back and forth with each other, just because of their different access between the internet and how often they can be on the internet at one point in time. So yes, most of them will be conducted online. Some of the challenges that I'm expecting to face from this is related to their level of access to the internet. So the women may be interested in talking with me and having an interview, but it may just be about scheduling and having the time to actually sit down at a computer, because some of them are traveling distances to be able to have internet access. Another issue is that a lot of these women, because they face violence in the communities that they're in, because of the conflicts that they're a part of, they have to hide their identities, or sometimes they have to do things more in secret than you would think they would have to do. So just making sure that their information stays private and that I'm not compromising them in any way and putting them in harm.
Thank you, Rachel. So the next question is for Marisleysis. How might your project be especially important right now in the light of COVID-19? What do you hope that it might contribute?
I feel that's especially important since majority of the world is quarantined and have to stay inside, and people have realized they do not like to stay inside, and it can get frustrating, especially if you're not able to go and do things you enjoy. You're kind of just inside your house, as mentioned. So practicing these mindfulness activities just to help be aware of your surroundings and really understanding how you feel, because mindfulness is not only staying calm as how majority of people think of it. It's actually being aware of your surroundings and accepting the circumstances in any given situation as well. So with this being said, this research would be beneficial, so individuals would have an idea on how to process everything that's going on, and so they don't freak out as much or try and understand why they feel the way they feel and figuring out how to resolve that.
Thank you, Marisleysis. Amy, the next question is for you. What impact, if any, do you think that coronavirus might have on Latinx students' sense of belonging at a PWI?
Can you repeat that again? I kind of lost your connection.
Sure. What impact, if any, do you think that the coronavirus might have on Latinx students' sense of belonging at a PWI?
I believe the impact of the COVID-19, that may impact Latinx students because of the fact that they had to leave and then come back to campus would probably make them feel a little more nervous and just confused as to what's going on. And the fact that they're already a little more isolated than other students. So it may cause them to feel confused, like I stated.
Thank you, Amy. And the next question is for Porscha. So this writer says, not being familiar with adverse childhood experience at ACE, is there a correlation between ACE and household size? And will that have an impact on your work?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure if there is a correlation between, adverse childhood experiences and household size. Yeah, that's a really good question. I really don't know the answer to that one. But I mean, in my personal opinion, I do think that there might be a correlation between there because, I mean, I feel like everything has an impact on, on something. So I feel like, the more numbers or the less numbers, or whatever, I feel like that would impact really anything anyway. So yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
So Porscha, while I have you here, I know that you've had to change your project just a little bit with your methodology. So what did you start out with your methodology, and then how did that change because of COVID-19?
Yeah, so I was going to do everything face-to-face. So I was going to have the therapist at Crosswinds Counseling and Wellness Center have their clients come in, and then the therapist will give them all of my materials that I have presented to them, which is the DLA 20, which is the daily activity or daily living activities assessment. That just asks the client, or what is it? It helps the clients. It helps the therapist with, figuring out the clients is how they live daily, pretty much like what they do on a daily basis. And then it would be an informed consent form, just the normal things. And then they would just give me all the materials back, and then just everything face to face. But now I'm just going to be creating like an online link where I will be sending those out to the therapist, and then the therapist will just send that link that has all of the materials on it. And then the clients will fill that out, and then it'll send me like a direct email saying, hey, this person, it won't say like the name or anything, but a person has filled it out, and that's how I will be getting my information. So pretty drastically, but I feel like I'll probably be getting my information a lot faster than if I would to do like face-to-face and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, Porscha. Olivia, sometimes students in summer classes are different. Like they might have different characteristics from fall and spring semester classes. Will this present any challenges for your work? And you might talk a little bit about also what your methodology is and how did COVID-19 change your methods?
Okay. In regards to the summer classes, I'm not sure if they're talking about because I plan on using summer students to report on their spring experience. But that is something that I'm going to do, is to give the survey to summer class students. I'm not sure if I answered that question. Did I answer that okay?
Right. So how do you think the students in the summer, would their characteristics be a little different from the ones, so you're going to ask them to report on their spring experiences, right?
Yes,
so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, not their summer experience. I will be asking them about their spring 2020 experience with the pandemic, and how we had that format change from in class to online. So they'll just be reporting back on their experience from that time. And then they'll also be reporting on how they feel they did academically in the spring of 2020 compared to how they feel they did in the fall of 2019. So, and then they'll also be reporting on their GPA too, to kind of back that up. And then also mine did change quite a bit because before the pandemic, I was just planning on doing, I was going to be the instructor, as you will. And I was going to have a classroom of participants, and I was going to build brief rapport with them. And then I was going to give them a test. Well, I was going to give them a set of material to learn, and then I was going to give them a test. And then I was going to see about the academic performance or academic achievement in that sense. So I was going to actually do everything myself, but now I'm just I'm sending my participants surveys and having them report on their experience. So that's how mine's changed.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
Jennifer, this next question is for you. Do you have any hypotheses about which toothpaste might be more effective on specific stains? Alternatively, do you anticipate that one toothpaste might be more effective on all stains?
Yes, so I have a personal hypothesis. I feel like the Colgate Optic White is going to whiten the most, just because that is a very popular toothpaste and it's been around for such a long time. However, the Sensodyne toothpaste, which is the other I'm using, it does claim to fight against wine acids. So I'm very interested in seeing whether or not it does better than the other two toothpastes it's competing against. But otherwise, I kind of have equal standards for all of them, just because they're all very unique in their own way.
Thank you, Jennifer. See, back to Amy. So Amy, were there any limitations on surveying people on a larger scale, like across multiple campuses? So why are you focusing mostly on Emporia State and not looking at multiple campuses?
Yeah, I am focusing personally on Emporia State since I attend here. So I have personally been able to just experience how it feels to be in a predominantly white campus, being in the classrooms and just other settings. And that's why I personally wanted to focus somewhere where I have seen it and actually experienced it. And it would be interesting to see how other campuses are impacted too. So maybe that's something I can look into as well as I research this. Thank you.
Yeah. As far as I know, I mean.
Okay, the next question is for Olivia. It's quite likely that we might find ourselves teaching courses using a blended approach, with some portions of the course online and some face-to-face. There will be students who cannot take any portions of the course face-to-face because they are high risk for COVID-19. What suggestions do you have for faculty build rapport with students when some are face-to-face and some are online? What did you find in your literature review?
I think I'm confused on the question.
Okay.
Could you restate that? Or?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So in the fall, it's likely that some students may be face-to-face, some students might be online. So there might be a hybrid approach to teaching. Are there suggestions that you found in your literature review that you have for faculty to be able to build those relationships or rapport with students?
Okay, yes. Thank you for restating that for me, and thank you for the question. In my literature review, I found a lot of things about first impressions, and basically what it told me about first impressions in Rapport is that that quality of the instruction is what really students are looking for. So as long as that quality is there, and then as far as building rapport and keeping that relationship, like throughout, whether it was like a hybrid type thing or could be like sorry, I just blanked. Sorry. So in my literature review, I found that oh my gosh, I'm blanking. I'm so sorry. Let me think for a second. Sorry, just like keeping that contact throughout the whole semester is what's really going to be important. So keeping that connection, making sure you're staying connected with your students. I don't know why I blanked on that, but anyways, yeah. So just stay connected with your students throughout is what I found in my literature review, basically, to sum it up. So that's what they care about, that immediacy. Like students care about the immediacy and whether you're contacting them in a quick and effective manner. So just staying on top of your communication with your students and keeping that communication open. Thank you.
Good job, Olivia. I'm going to keep you on the screen for a moment. What do you think has been the most challenging or frustrating thing that you've encountered as a McNair Scholar, and what do you think is the most exciting?
Okay, so probably the most challenging thing as a McNair Scholar would be like thinking outside of the norm, I guess you could say, because as a McNair Scholar, you're held to a high standard. And so, and I wouldn't have considered myself very academic beforehand. And so being a McNair Scholar really pushed me to become more academically focused. So it's been a challenge, but also a reward. And then what was the second part of the question?
What's been the most exciting?
Okay, the most exciting thing has been to be able to like think of a research topic and be able to actually act on that research. So this has been really exciting for me, even though it's been really challenging, it's been really exciting too. So thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Amy, can you talk a little bit about how your research project has changed because of COVID-19? What did you have to do with your methodology?
Yes. Okay, so my methodology will be qualitative. So I will be interviewing, but because of what's occurring, I have to do the interviews remotely, which will be through Zoom. So that changed. And I mean, I hope everything goes well and that I'm able to treat it just like a regular interview, like I would have if this wouldn't be happening. But yeah, that's how mine changed.
Okay. Now back to you. Same thing for you. What has been the most challenging or frustrating thing that you've encountered as a McNair Scholar?
The most challenging probably has just been like the research in general, because this is something new to me that I've never done this before. So I've been having to learn like how to write a literature review or a methodology. So so this is like all new to me. So yeah, I guess that would be the most challenging for me.
And Amy, what has been the most exciting thing for you?
The most exciting would be probably being able to conduct my own study. Like I never thought I'd be doing this or even capable of doing this. So knowing that I'm like doing my own study is like, wow, that's awesome. So yeah, it's going to be very rewarding, like how Olivia stated. So I'm excited. Thank you.
All right, back to Olivia. So Olivia, this is kind of a follow-up question. If summer students are higher achieving students, or maybe the opposite, but maybe because they're taking classes in the summer, they're more used to learning in the online environment, will these students naturally favor the online experience? And do you think that might be challenging then to generalize your results to the general population? Do you think that will skew your results at all for the students that take mostly fall and spring classes?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure exactly about summer students because, like I said, I was just trying to obtain my sample, like to give the survey out to the summer students. But yeah, could you ask that question again? I think I might have not understood fully what was being asked.
You're doing fine.
Okay.
So people that take summer classes may be a little more intrinsically motivated to do well, and they may be more comfortable taking classes in the online environment. Whereas with COVID-19, students that were taking spring classes were expecting to be taught and learn face-to-face, and then suddenly they were thrown into remote instruction into the online environment. So if you only use students from summer school, do you think that will change because maybe they're more comfortable taking classes than if you were using students from the spring?
Okay, yeah. I just think that the sample, like the participants that I'll be using to survey in the summer will be students that were not online students. Like they're not generally online students in the spring. I'll make sure that I use students that have that are in the same predicament, like as, I mean, pretty much myself too. that started in the classroom and then moved to the online, because that's definitely, especially when you're a student that learns better in the classroom than online, it could be challenging. So, but yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, I will not be necessarily asking about the online experience as much as just the experience as a whole. So.
Well, and one thing that we had talked about, I know, is using students from my spring class this semester. So those will be students that have started that are generally taking face-to-face classes. So having a mixture of students that did go through this experience, I think will probably make it so that, so that you have some that maybe are comfortable taking online classes and maybe some that aren't as comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And that might be a question to ask too. So yeah. Like, how comfortable are you?
Yeah, how many courses have you taken online?
Yes.
Up to this point?
Yeah.
Or have you had experience with taking online courses?
Yes. Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Porscha, I'm going to pick on you for a little bit. What has been the most challenging or frustrating thing that you've encountered as a McNair Scholar?
The most challenging and frustrating part is probably, I would say, the research itself, like the workload. I absolutely love it. I've done research before last semester. It's hard. It really is. And all the workload in, such a small amount of time. But yeah. And then trying to, kind of what Olivia had said, to get up to that standard of, being, that academic student, you want to be able to do better now, because I am a McNair Scholar now. So I want to be able to, uphold to that standard, you know what I mean? And I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. So, yeah.
And what do you think has been the most exciting thing about being a McNair Scholar?
The research. The research. It's hard, but I love it. I really do. And then also I'm really excited to hopefully when, if everything becomes safe and everything, the COVID-19 hopefully goes away, we don't want it anymore. We can hopefully travel to grad schools, because I'm really excited to travel and figure out where I want to go. And that's one of the really exciting things about the McNair is that, we get to travel to different schools. So that's really exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
Guadalupe, another question for you. What adjustments did you have to make from the ideas that you had in the beginning regarding your research? And if so, do you have the same level of excitement? So how, because your project totally changed, how did it change?
All right, well, my project, my research studies has completely did a 360 turn. I initially started with a different topic, completely different, nothing close to what I'm doing right now. I was starting to work on that, and then spring break came, and then COVID came, and then that's when everything had to not throw away necessarily, because I still have my research, half of that done, but just completely start fresh, start new topics, because what I was going to research was not going to be, for me at that time, was not going to be able to be excessive. I couldn't really work with anything. So that was just quite frustrating. And then just starting a new topic and really concentrating on what I really wanted to research was kind of difficult until I talked to my mentor, and he talked me out, and he helped me figure out what the problems are. And right now I feel like I'm so excited to research what I'm doing. It's so prevalent, so relevant to today's time, and I'm just excited to see the outcome of this.
So I'm going to ask you what I've been asking the other students. What do you find most challenging or frustrating about being a McNair Scholar?
I believe being a McNair Scholar, the most challenging thing is having time allocated for your studies. I just believe that as a student, you have to really organize your time. If you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to be behind. Starting off in this class, first of all, I was late halfway, so that was kind of I'd say just stressful. because I had everything just not thrown at me, I'm sorry, gosh, just everything there presented to me. I just needed to reallocate my time and figure out what I wanted to do, on top of taking 20 credit hours, and then doing other things in my life, and not being able to live home during my semester, because home for me is Kansas City and I was living in Emporia. So it was traveling and everything was just kind of frustrating. So I guess the only thing I'd say, it's just time consuming, that you have to allocate time for your studies.
And what do you find to be the most exciting thing about being a McNair Scholar?
So the most exciting thing I'd say would be, I would agree that we are able to start on our graduate project in our career, something that I never thought I could do, just because I'm first gen and I'm not raised to continue to my education. So everything I'm doing, it's the first thing that I'm doing for myself. So I believe the McNair Scholars is an awesome opportunity for you to be engaged in projects, be engaged in research, and be hopefully on your way to graduate from graduate school or just apply to graduate school. So that's really exciting for me.
Thank you, Guadalupe. All right, Marisleysis. Can you talk a little bit about how your project has changed, because your methodologies have changed because of COVID-19? And then I've got some follow-up questions to go with that.
Okay, my methodology has changed. Initially, what I wanted to do was like do it face-to-face, and actually, since my participants are going to be from an upward bound summer program, so in my mind, it was easier just to, do it face-to-face, do those activities face-to-face, because it'd be easier just to do it as, in my opinion, to do it as a whole group when they're physically in the same spot. I can explain it a little bit more in depth, just in case if like one participant might not know exactly what to do, and fill out all the questionnaires and the surveys that I have, since it is kind of like a lot and they may have questions. But because of this, I decided I just change it to electronically, so all the surveys are on Google Forms. If campus closed or open, regardless, everything would still be online. So that's how my research has changed.
Okay, so following up, you're going to be working with adolescents or teenagers that are in the Upward Bound program. Do you see any challenges in getting them to participate in mindfulness activities?
Yes, I do. Some challenges I might say is they simply might not want to do it just because they think, why do I have to do this this activity, when I can be doing something else. But a way that I found, which I've talked to like the Upward Bound director and also like the trio director, is maybe do like an incentive. So like maybe after completing the study, they'll get a $15 stipend, just so they know, you're like, oh, I'm doing this, but in the end, I'm gonna get something back in return. I'm not just putting my time in for no reason. And other possibilities maybe, I'm not sure, like maybe one day some participants are unable to, do the activities for, I'm not sure if they're sick or like their internet's not working. So those are challenges I may face, but I'll just have to figure out a way to work those out and see what I can do from there.
Okay, building on that, what are some of the mindfulness activities that you're going to have the students do? And is there a way that faculty at Emporia State could use some mindfulness of the activities such as these in class as a way to reduce stress?
Okay, so for my mindfulness activities, I have 6, and they take no more than 20, but it's more like 10 minutes. The activities consist of 3 videos and 3 exercises. So an example for a video is a body scan video, and it's a guided meditation one. So you just have to follow what the instructor is saying, and that one takes 5 minutes of your time compared to however many minutes in a day you have. And for an exercise, I have an example is a 3-minute breathing exercise. So it's distributed into 3 minutes. So 1 minute is just focusing on how you feel. The other minute is focusing on your body, how it feels. And then the last one is focusing how, as you're breathing, how does that affect your body? So that's just 3 minutes out of your day that anyone can do at any time, and how faculty could incorporate this into their, classrooms. It could either be in beginning the classroom, during the classroom, or close to the end. Maybe let's say for tests, I know sometimes or something like that, an example, or doing it the day before, just so the students are not as stressed out for this test. Or for finals week, I would say a lot of mindfulness activities should be dead week, as they say, the week before finals week, just so they're not as stressed when they're taking their finals, just to help them out, because as college students, and pretty much everyone does get stressed. So we need to figure out ways to manage those and cope with it in healthy manners as well, which is the most important aspect of this.
Okay, thank you. Also, Marisleysis, what do you see as the most challenging or frustrating aspect of being a McNair Scholar?
I want to honestly agree with what everyone else has said, that it's the time management, you got to really focus on that, the research, just figuring out all your literature review, really thinking about your methodology. I feel like the most challenging part for me was trying to explain exactly what I'm going to do, so other people, if they would ever want to replicate this study, be able to actually do it and ask myself and question, well, does this make sense? If I were to be someone else, would I actually be able to understand what I'm trying to say and do what it says on the paper? So I feel like that's the most challenging part.
And what do you see as the most exciting aspect of being a McNair Scholar?
As of right now, I'm going to say the research. I also have done Porscha research before, and it made me realize that I really, really, really love research. I just in the moment when you're actually doing it and you're finding your results and everything you did, you just all the hard work that pays off. But also, since I haven't been in it as long, so I know there's still more excitement to come. And also, apart from that, just having these peers and seeing them do their projects and being successful, and it just makes me happy. Gets me emotional. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I love.
All right, thank you. I'm going to move to Rachel now. So Rachel, why did you select the topic that you're doing, and what do you hope to learn from it?
So I've worked really closely with Dr. Linneberry, who is my faculty mentor on this project, not only for this project, but for a lot of projects prior to that. And that is some research that she's really focused on as well. And it really piqued my interest. I took a social movements class in the fall of 2019 that I focused a lot on women's peace building work. And the organization that I chose to focus on for that class was actually women who advocate for permanent peace all throughout the world. And so I just really wanted to look at how we can make those collaborations and those organizations more successful and have a bigger impact, and really get women involved in that formal process of peace building, because a lot of the times women are left out of the formal peace building processes, and they're kind of left as responsible for the local stuff, the stuff that happens in one tiny county or one tiny city, and it doesn't get expanded to change the dynamics of the whole country. So I think really it's to make a bigger impact in peace building and to help women find new ways to do it that they may not have ever thought about before.
Okay, so I'm going to stay with you for a moment again. What do you see as the most challenging or frustrating aspect of being a McNair Scholar?
I think for me, it's just figuring out in general how the process works to get to grad school. You know, I am a first generation college student as well. And so I never had that guidance to help me get there. And so when I got into the program, it was like, I felt like there was a lot of people saying, you have to do this and this and this. And I may not have even known what those things meant at first. And so just kind of figuring out what the process is to get there was really most challenging for me.
And what are you most excited about?
I think I'm most excited about seeing everybody's projects like at the end and what comes out of them all. As a person, I want to be a professor eventually, so I'm in research for the long haul. So I get really excited when other people have these cool ideas, and just their research fascinates me. And every one of the ladies who are here today, their research really interests me, and I'm just excited to see the results of everybody's projects.
Okay, let's go back to Jennifer. Jennifer, has COVID-19 and things that have happened with the campus, has that changed your methodology at all? And what do you hope to learn from your research project?
Fortunately, my methodology hasn't been changed very much because I just work in the lab. So it would just be me and my mentor, and we would be the only ones inside of the lab. So everything is the same. And what was the other question you said?
So what do you hope to learn? So what substances are you looking at with the teeth? And then what do you hope to learn not only about the whitening, but was there other aspects of it that you were looking at?
So the staining agents that we're using will be wine, coffee, green tea, and soy sauce, just because they're very common liquids that people use in their life. And I'm seeing if they will whiten or stain, and then if the whitening toothpaste will whiten. And then I'm not sure if I will include any other factors, just because these are artificial teeth. Originally, I did want to use like actual human teeth and see if the dentin and the enamel on the tooth would be affected, which are just interior parts of the tooth. But maybe in the future, I will be able to do that. But for now, it's just very surface level things.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you what I've asked everybody else. What do you find the most challenging or frustrating about being a McNair Scholar?
I would say I don't find anything frustrating, just like a good challenge doing research, just because I've done research in the past, but not to this level. And so it's been kind of challenging to bring everything together and then come up with these ideas. But I mean, I've had many useful resources, so I feel like content with my work.
And what do you find to be the most exciting about being a McNair Scholar?
I think I felt the most excited thus far whenever I finished all of the presentations, my poster, and recorded everything. I felt very whole. But for the long run, I'm excited to see how we all do our presentations and the outcomes of everything, because we've worked so hard for it.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go back to Porscha. So Porscha, in your literature review, did you find any factors or attributes that impacted how an individual might respond to Asis? For example, some people come through these situations and maybe use their background and their experiences to drive them forward. Others seem to struggle more with physical and mental health concerns.
Not sure. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what the question is.
So the question is, in the literature review, when you looked at the work that's been done on Asis, did you find any factors or attributes that impacted how a person might handle those adverse experiences they had in childhood?
No, I did not. All of the literature reviews that I had read, most of them really didn't focus on how they are as an adult and how they cope with that, which is why that's what I want to do, because I didn't really see that a lot in any of the literature reviews that I had read. Most of them just really talked about, what are ACEs, how many people have ACEs, how many people have, how many people have how many ACEs, if that makes sense. But no, I didn't read anything about that. But yeah, that's why I am trying to do this research, because I want to know what it is that causes people to, be how they are in adulthood because of ACEs, So hope that I answered that well.
It did, and it kind of went into the next question that I was thinking of, was what are you hoping to learn from your research?
Yeah, so I just want to learn like how do ACEs affect an adult after, whenever they experience a childhood trauma, how does that affect that individual in their adulthood, because some people do get mental disorders, mental illnesses and things like that. And some people don't, it just depends, honestly. So that's what I want to learn, what happens after childhood trauma, really.
So on all of your posters, you talk about faculty mentors. Porscha, can you talk a little bit about what the role your faculty mentor has played with your research?
Oh my goodness, she's been the biggest help ever. Dr. Tracy Wexelblatt, I will email her every day and she'll get back to me so fast. But the biggest role that she's played with me is she's been like that open ear. I'm a big question person. If I don't understand something, I will ask a question. And she always has a wonderful answer for me, and if I don't understand it, she's wonderful with explaining it and, more in depth and everything. But yeah, she's that one person that, if I don't understand something, I can go to her and she will answer it for me. It's just great. Yeah, it's just wonderful.
And while I have you on the spot, you've talked a little bit about liking to do research, loving the process of research. How do you think this experience is going to help you in the future?
Oh man, well, I want to and hopefully get my medical degree in psychiatry. And so if I can start, with this, I would say that this would be like an entry level type of research. So if I can build up, start from here, and then, I find the results that I find, and then if I want to research more and I want to go more in depth with it, I feel like I can go and just keep going. And it will just help me in the future, learn asking questions, I'll ask questions, I'll get answers. And then I just feel like it would just help a lot for when I want to go in the future. I do want to continue to do research throughout my whole career. I absolutely.
Okay, we're going to move off of Porscha, and I'm going to go back to Jennifer. Jennifer, are you testing any of the charcoal black whitening toothpaste? And are there chemicals in these toothpastes that might be just as harmful as other whitening toothpaste?
Many people have asked me about the charcoal toothpaste, but I regret to inform you all that I am not using charcoal toothpaste. Maybe in the future, just because from prior knowledge, I've learned that charcoal toothpaste doesn't really do much for your teeth. So I just wanted to test toothpaste that were, very popular. But as for the chemicals, I haven't been able to go in completely and research those. But there are usually the same whitening agents in each kind of toothpaste, no matter what the brand is. So they're all fairly equal and none are too damaging. Of course, otherwise we would be hearing it all over the news.
And how has what is the role of your faculty mentor? How has your person helped you with research?
He has been very helpful, and I am extremely thankful for his help and guidance, because we are going to be using very advanced chemistry, or like just science instruments, and I don't know how to use them, of course. So he will be showing me how to do that and how to effectively proceed with all of the methodology that I've prepared.
And how will your research and this whole experience, how will that help you in the future?
So my career plan is to become a dentist, hopefully. So that's why, and I've always been interested in like teeth and how the mouth's anatomy works. So this is kind of just like for fun, but also, you know, of course, for the research and stuff. So hopefully once I'm applying to dental school, they'll see that I've been interested, you know, since a young age, and then they'll get me into their school.
Thank you, Jennifer. Let's see. Marisleysis, what has been the role of your faculty mentor in your research?
So my mentor is Dr. Kathy Grover, and she has been tremendous help in like everything from the process. We have great communication. I feel like when I need help expressing or like writing things that I need to write, she helps me out. I will admit I'm not really that good in grammar. So whenever like I send her my stuff just to look over, she really like helps me out in those aspects. And it just also like helps me learn. She answers any questions I have and gets me thinking of other ideas or ways I can figure things that might not be working out. And she's always there whenever I do ask for help. And it's just a great time with her.
Okay. And then how do you see that this experience doing research will help you in the future?
This will help me in the future because I also want to continue doing research as, you know, the years go on. Hopefully, like my overall goal is to obtain a doctorate degree and become, you know, like a clinical psychologist who focuses more on children and adolescents. So this will, I feel, help me, especially when in the doctoral program and trying to, since it's kind of similar, but it's more high level in the doctoral program, but at least I'll have an idea of what I need to do, how to do these things, and I won't go in blinded per se. And it'll just help me learn how to write better, how to explain my thoughts on paper, how to explain my presentation skills as well will enhance how I communicate with others, and being able to be more open-minded as well, and seeing how to get constructive feedback and using that and applying that.
Awesome. All right, Guadalupe. You talked a little bit about your mentor and how your mentor helped you change your project. Is there any more that you could add about the role that your mentor has played in your project?
Absolutely. So I introduced myself as being an accounting student. As an accounting student, we don't really focus on research because we just analyze numbers all day. So it's just an honor to be working alongside with Rob Catlett. He is professor in the econ department. So he's just allowed me to explore another world and another field, which I am very excited about because I actually want to go to grad school for economics. So with his insight in econ and his analysis through his work, I am able to see econ in his work. Moreover, I just feel like he's been a huge help with, again, my grammar, with just analyzing my data, making sure. And he's also provided me with great resources like making my own graph. I don't know if anybody has tried this, but it's a Fred app, a website where you can use data from the world, from other parts, and you can compose that and put it into a graph, which I never had any idea how to do that, but thanks to him, I do that. And as well, just providing me with plentiful resources. I actually have some research cited from his own work that he's actually doing. So that's just really exciting. And again, I'm excited to be working with Dr. Catlett.
So a question I have, you are looking at 3 food pantries, but you're also looking at something else. And what are you comparing when you're looking at these resources?
So the 3 organizations that I'm looking at is just an analysis of the food desert. Now the 2 grocers that I'm looking at is where these grocers are located are exactly why the food deserts are in existence. So my main goal was to find a grocer that is most targeted in a food desert area. So I was able to find Aldi and then Walmart, and I have the graph citing where they are at, and that just gives me plentiful data of where families go to shop. And so these 2 grocers are, for me right now, are going to be able to compare whether or not the food pantries are in help if they're there. So I'm going to analyze the food data, as in food sales for grocers, and then the number of families helped to see if there is any correlation to that. So that's what my data will be of representation.
And how do you think this experience of doing research will help you in the future?
Experience on research is something that I feel every student should take. I think that doing research allows you to observe the world at a different level. Analyzing different things, something that you enjoy, will definitely allow you to be a separate entity in the world. I feel like by doing research, you just have something to tell from your background. Like, what did you do with your life as a student? Like, I feel like having a research background is definitely helpful for you as a student, for you as a person in the real world, to demonstrate what your capabilities are. So I definitely think that doing research is a huge, huge component of being a student and can really help you expand your knowledge and things.
All right, a last question for you. If you could give a tip or advice to future students participating in McNair Scholars Program, what would it be?
It's a good question. Challenge yourself. I feel like everyone should challenge yourself in education. Don't stop learning. Learning is beautiful. You just put yourself into the world and just learn and educate yourself. Put things that you get out of your comfort zone. Explore. There's so many things in the world to do. So little time, but you can do it. It's just put your mind to it. You'll do anything. McNair Scholars is a huge, huge opportunity for you to do that, to practice that. So I believe that you just challenge yourself.
Okay, thank you. Olivia, can you talk a little bit about the impact or the influence that your mentor has had on you, or the role that they play in your research?
Yes. So I have 2 mentors actually, and they're both from the psychology department, Kelly McInerney and Dr. John Wade. Well, both doctors. But yes, and they've been really great for me to be able just to get that support. They've been a really great support system for me, and to give me like ideas. And they both have like 2 different perspectives, because Dr. McInerney is more familiar in the research process and has done a lot of research and has a lot of research experience. So she's definitely been a help when it comes to what kind of questions to ask and where to get the information from. And she's been great. And Dr. Wade has been really awesome too, and his support. for my work, and he's just like a cheerleader almost, I feel like. So I feel like he's really rooting for my success, and that's really important for me. So they've both been really great.
And how do you think this experience of doing research will help you in the future?
Yeah, so like most of the ladies here, I didn't have any experience prior to this with research, just basic level of it, understanding. So coming into this and being able to go through the process, I think that especially going into the field of psychology, there's going to be a lot of research in my future. So this has definitely been a great guideline and like a foundation to start on. So.
And if you could give a tip or advice to future students participating in the McNair Scholars Program, what would it be?
I would say that just give yourself some grace because we're not perfect, and there might be a little bit of pressure to be great as a McNair Scholar, but really just be yourself and give yourself time to grow and like be open to grow and learn and through the process, because that's ultimately what's gonna help you be successful, is to just be open to learn. So yeah, just be patient with yourself.
All right, thank you, Olivia. Amy, haven't talked to you in a little bit. Can you talk about your mentor and how they have, what's the role that they've played in your research project?
Yes, my mentor is Dr. Rebecca Rodriguez Terri, and she has been an amazing help. I'm so grateful for her. Since the beginning, I remember going to her and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and she helped me. And if I have a question on something, I know she'll be there to help me and answer my question. And yeah, so she's just been amazing since the beginning, and I'm so grateful I chose her to be my mentor.
And how do you think this experience will help you in the future?
I believe this experience will help me in the future because I do plan on attending graduate school, and I know I will be having to conduct a lot more research, and this is just helping me realize what I have to do in the future, so I won't get into graduate school like confused on what to do, or I'll like know what I'm going to be doing, if that makes sense.
And if you had tip or advice for incoming McNair Scholars or future McNair Scholars, what would it be?
Advice is don't be afraid, go for it, do what you want to do, and research wise, yeah, don't let fear get to you, because yeah, that'll stop you from doing a lot of stuff. Fear will stop you. So just go for it and learn a lot, and it's an amazing experience.
All right, good job. Porscha, I'm going to switch over to you. So Porscha, what advice would you have for any future McNair Scholars?
Kind of going off of what Amy said a little bit, I would honestly say, like, you know, although this might be like someone's first time, this is my second time doing research, but you know, if it was someone's first time doing research or whatever, don't, oh, I blanked. Ooh, I blanked. Just go, just do whatever you want to do. Don't like do something that you think, okay, well, I don't think that, you know, I'll be able to do this because this is out of my range of, you know, I don't know what this is, or I don't really want to try that. Just do it, honestly. Because I was nervous, you know, trying to figure out if I wanted to use Crosswinds Counseling and Wellness Center, just because I was like, you know, that's like a whole organization. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to want to, you know, use me and whatever, but I just did it. And I'm so happy that I did. Because if not, I feel like, you know, I wouldn't have the research project. I wouldn't have a research project as good as I feel like I do now. So yeah, I would just say, don't think that something is not good enough, or that something is, you know, too good for you. You know what I mean? Just do it. At least try to do it, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't work out, just find something else.
All right, thank you, Porscha. Rachel, what advice or tips would you have for future McNair scholars?
I'd definitely say just don't be afraid to be open with other people and to let people know when you're struggling with something, and to be honest with yourself really about what you're capable of. And of course, challenge yourself, but don't push yourself to the point that you are overwhelmed and you're feeling burnt out throughout your whole process. Because I know that's something I tend to do with myself, and it's something I could work on, but it's definitely important to make sure that you know your limits and to be honest with yourself and others about your limits.
Okay, I think I'm trying to look to see if there's any other questions that we want to ask or have. And I think I got everybody on the tips.
Okay. Well, if that's all the questions in that we have for today, especially with the ones that were submitted, congratulations to all of today's presenters. I just want to say that. It would appear that a great deal of work went into your topics and your research, and this was honestly very informative. So before we wrap up, Terri or Shanna, do you have any closing thoughts then?
So I had somebody submit, they wanted to make sure that I tell, and I was going to tell them this anyway. Yes, that all of you guys did an awesome job answering your questions and presenting yourself very professionally. So good job. Congratulations on the work. With this class, what the students will do is they will spend this summer now carrying out these research projects. And then at the end of it, they will be writing a it'll be in the draft of a publishable article to present their results. And then hopefully things will be kind of semi back to normal next spring, and they'll be presenting at Research Creativity Day in the spring. So you'll kind of be able to see what the final results are from their research projects. But I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank students also for your work on this. Shanna?
Students have done a great job today. I think this is not the semester that any of them wanted to really start their McNair experience. And so several of them have talked about what they hope they get to do in the future. And we know that there will come a point when you'll get to do that. And so I just applaud them for their perseverance in making changes to their entire projects and making changes to their methodologies, and just rolling with everything that was thrown at them, because this is kind of the world of research. And they got a really healthy dose of challenges in their first, or sometime for some of them for their second experience. But I just applaud their efforts, and I can't wait to see their final projects at the end of the summer.
Absolutely. Yeah, a big thank you to everybody who attended today's chat at home. I want to go ahead and encourage everybody again, if you haven't checked out our guest poster presentations, they are online at emporia.edu/McNair. And later on today, you'll be able to rewatch this event if you didn't catch the whole thing by going online to emporia.edu/live. And I'm pretty sure that's all we have for you guys today. So thank you again for all of you guys coming on, and I hope you guys have a great day.